Good morning. I had to see it still is morning. On the 25th of March, over the weekend, I was reading my most current edition of a great magazine called NYER, which actually stands for New York Enterprise Report. It's a fine publication, uh, published and edited by Robert Levin, and I want to make sure that there's a bunch of great articles in this month's edition, and I need to emphasize that it's called the New York. Actually, it's called NYER. It used to be called the New York Enterprise Report, and I suppose Robert probably changed so as folks would not necessarily think that all the articles are about small business in New York. Uh, there are a lot of things about small business in New York, but I find at least three or four articles of great interest to me that aren't necessarily about things happening just in New York. And to that point, I was not surprised, but saw an article written by my friend Barbara Weltman. It is the title of the article is "What the Affordable Care Act Means for Your Business." As a subtitle, "Prepare for Payroll Tax Changes Taking Effect in 2013 and 2014." I'm not going to actually talk about the article in depth. I'm just going to give you what it is about, and I will direct you to the site where you can actually read the article for yourself, and I highly recommend that you do. The Affordable Health Care Act touches every single human being in this country. It touches small business owners one way. It touches every other American in other ways. So it's very important that you gain an understanding how that act is going to impact you. And there is a tremendous amount of information and even some misinformation available. But I will guarantee you, promise you, that if Barbara Weltman has her name on the article, the information that you're reading, it will be 110% or more accurate. I like to say, I like to share that Barbara is recognized. Barbara's an attorney, but she focuses on tax issues for small business. That is her passion. We'll talk about a book that she has written for the 15th time this year in a moment or two. But Barbara is recognized by the New York Times, by the Washington Post, as America's #1 small business tax expert. She's called by one, tax guru called by the other. And if you have been following me for any length of time, you know that 2 years ago, Barbara so graciously gave of her 9 o'clock Friday morning time, and she and I conducted discussions most every Friday morning for, it lasted probably 7 or 8 months. And it was a wonderful experience. And They were archived at oursmallbusinesstv.com, which quite honestly, I don't even know if oursmallbusinesstv.com, if you can view archived um, videos that we did there. Uh, oursmallbusinesstv.com was actually live. It was recordings of live streaming that I did at a website for 4 years called Stickam, STICKAM.com. And I was doing one of my broadcasts about, I guess it must be about 3 months ago now. I did it on a Thursday, and I didn't know when I was doing that particular broadcast that it was the very last broadcast that I would be doing at Stickam.com. I got an email later on, almost an hour after I did that, I got an email saying that Stickam.com, a very, very successful social media live streaming website, was being closed down. I didn't really pursue discussions too much of why, but I felt this pain. Um, it was a great place for me to broadcast small business information and information about starting a business. And in fact, in a 4-year period, there were more than 2.5 million page views of small business information and information about starting a business that I had done. And I'm proud to say and honored to say that Barbara did numerous hours of broadcasts with me to talk about small business tax issues, things that impact every small business. Well, moving on to what she had to say recently in the March and April edition of New York Enterprise Report on page 22, what the Affordable Care Act means for your business. I'm going to read the first 2 paragraphs that Barbara wrote, and then I'm going to share with you just the changes that you really need to consider. Then I'm going to suggest that you go to the New York Report and actually read about it. And maybe, if we are especially lucky, I will be able to get some time with Barbara that she'll talk about these things and bring them to life. But here we go, page 22, March-April edition of NYER. 3 years ago, the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, known as ACA, was enacted to ensure that starting in 2014, literally January 1st, 2014, everyone will have health care coverage. Everyone. In 2013, and here's where you need to listen, the provisions of that act start to kick into gear, with more taking effect the next year in 2014. How will these changes impact your business? Barbara asks. Effective changes. While the heart of ACA starts next year, the funds to pay for many of the changes are going to be partially raised in 2013. Business owners will pay more in Medicare taxes on their earned income and investment income if they are high income. They will also have a new payroll withholding responsibility. Okay, the 7 areas impacted by the Affordable Care Act. 1, 0.9% Medicare surtax on earned income. Number 2, 3.8% net investment income tax, which is another Medicare surtax. Number three, a cap on FSAs, which, as you know, are flexible savings accounts. These are accounts where the employer shared an experience with their employees. The employee could put X number of dollars into a flexible savings account and use that towards a whole host of things. Now, flexible savings account, obviously they still exist, but about 5 years ago, there was a big push to create what is called a health savings account, an HSA. In the past, and it's been a long time since I've done this, but in the past, I used to talk a lot about health savings accounts. I opened one for myself, and it was a recommendation that I made to any person could open one. I thought it was mandatory, personally, and not legally, but mandatory that a small business owner create a health savings account. It is a pre-tax benefit. Money goes into a savings account. There's a cap on how much can go in. I believe that today the cap is probably about $3,500, maybe a little bit higher. But as long as the individual holder of that account used those monies, those savings, for health, defined health expenses, and there were at one time I know there were 200 that were defined. I don't know if how many are actually in existence today. They do relate to these flexible savings accounts that Barbara talks about. And one of the things I want to ask her, and maybe we can share that information with you, is where health savings accounts are today versus where they were and in relationship to flexible savings accounts, and what would be her recommendation on a go-forward basis in light of the Affordable Care Act. Number one, two, three, number four, reporting on W-2 forms is going to change. There's another article in here I wanted to share with you, but going on to Barbara's, another change, mandated coverage. This is extremely important, and you need to know where you stand as an individual and where you stand as a business owner. Additional reinsurance premiums, access to insurance. This is something that is going to have a tremendous impact on every American, their access to insurance. Coverage through insurance exchanges. I have been reading some things about this, not sharing a whole lot of information with you about insurance exchanges, but the states, the state where you live, I believe there are a lot of them that have put insurance exchanges into place, and I'm sure that all the states are considering whether or not they actually go into place. I'm not sure if they are actually mandated to have, at the state level, to have a health exchange. Well, maybe Barbara says this. Small businesses will be able to buy health coverage from a state's small business health option plans, an SHOP exchange, instead of from insurers. So yes, all states will have them. I believe some of them actually have them in place right now. That's where I was getting a little bit confused. And a final impact, house small employer health credit. I'm sorry, new small employer health credit. New small employer health credit. Okay, those are the basic areas which you need to know. I will put the website, the New York Enterprise Report website down so that you can go and read the article. I definitely recommend that you read it. And as a final note, you probably have heard me talk about Barbara's book that she does now for the 15th year. She's been doing this book with J.K. Lasser, Small Business Taxes 2013. There are over 200,000 copies sold of the book. Um, I think I bought my first one in 2007. So I have 6 of those 200,000 books. Your complete guide to a better bottom line. Uh, this book, and justifiably so, is one of, I believe, about 200 books that are being voted upon as we speak as the best uh, business book for 2013. I'm going to post a site. Actually, I'm going to post a URL. It's a landing page, and it's Barbara's landing page where this book is highlighted, and you can go to, you'll be able to just link on that page and go vote for Barbara's book. You are allowed to vote once a day for any of the books on that list. The only book so far that I've actually voted on every day since the voting started was Barbara's book. Now, you've heard me say this before. I pay $19.95 for this book because as soon as I know that it's available, I literally rush to my bookstore, my neighborhood bookstore, and buy it, whatever the cost. But we have the book available through an affiliate relationship that we have with Amazon.com. And Barbara helped me along the way. You can order the book in David's Barter community, davidsbarter.com slash Barbara hyphen Weltman. It's BARBARAWELTMAN. You can order the book for considerably less than $19.95, whatever the price. If it's $19.95, which is the most, or a lower price, you will soon discover that it is the best business investment you can make for the return that you get on that investment. My favorite way to read the book, unless I have a specific topic in mind, I will go to the index, look up what page it's on, go to the page. But a favorite exercise I do, and you see I've got the book close at hand. I love to just open the book to whatever the page is. And I guarantee you, I don't know about you, but I learn something new every time I go through that exercise. And I want to thank Barbara for doing that, and thank her and J.K. Lasser for making this book available every year now for the last 15 years. I've learned so much about my business. I took a lot of things for granted because I just simply put all the numbers together and gave them to my CPA, and Rick created my return. I didn't pay too much attention. I had trust and confidence in Rick, and he just did it. The last couple of years, I've been adding to the dimension of that exercise. I actually got some. I didn't do it this year, but the last 2 years, I got some online filing software, not for the purpose of actually filing my return, but going through the exercise of filing my return. And I put the numbers in and created a return, and then I took that return to Rick, my CPA, and he audited that and said, well, David, you should have done this. David, you should have done that. Here's corrections I made, et cetera, et cetera. It was a great exercise because, well, Rick didn't spend as much time doing my return because it was all there and he could see the impact of what was all there. And I learned a great deal by going through my tax return line by line. It's a great exercise that I also recommend. And this book and putting those two all together, you will, and make sure you have a CPA, certified public accountant, a public accountant, in many cases a bookkeeper. That's and a bookkeeper is not certified, obviously, but they do keep your books, so they have control over how your bookkeeping is actually done, which directly impacts how your taxes are done. It's your choice to do what you feel is best for your business. So please go to the website I'm going to post, or to the URL I'm going to post, and vote for Barbara's book, and vote every day from now on. It might be till the end of the month, so you still have probably about another week. And last time I looked, Barbara had over 300 votes for the book, and you'll feel good. You'll feel good after you voted for it. We will see you soon, and talk about something else that is impactful to your small business, or certainly gives you some information, some food for thought about starting a business in 2013.